So today we're diving into a truly remarkable story. The life of Mark Anthony Addy.
Yeah, our sources paint a picture of someone who, on the surface, seemed pretty ordinary. A pub landlord, a champion rower in Manchester.
But underneath that, extraordinary bravery. We're talking about saving over 50 people. 50. From the River Irwell, which was notoriously dangerous back then.
And dangerous is maybe understating it. We need to stress the Irwell in Addy's time wasn't picturesque. The Industrial Revolution had turned it incredibly polluted, seriously hazardous.
Absolutely. We'll get into that. And for this incredible sustained courage, he got the Albert Medal, which, was the top civilian honor before the George Cross came along.
Right, a really big deal.
So, our mission, our goal, figure out what drove him, why these repeated acts of heroism, what was his world like, and, well, why does his story still resonate today?
Okay, let's do it. So where do we start? His roots, maybe?
Good idea. He was born 1838, right there by the River Irwell, stage buildings near Blackfriars Bridge. So the river was there from day one.
Literally on his doorstep.
Yeah.
And his family, his father, also Mark Anthony Addy, was an Irish boatman. Mark Jr. was one of 8 kids.
Right, 8 kids. And they ran a boat hire business on the river, too. So it wasn't just scenery. It was their livelihood, their life.
You really get that sense. And what's pretty amazing, even as a kid, like 13 years old, he's already rescuing people. His friend, John Booth.
He saved him twice.
Twice. The first time, Addy apparently couldn't swim well himself, so he just waded in. The second time, he used a plank. It shows this, instinct. Quick thinking, maybe.
Definitely some innate sense of responsibility, you'd think. And maybe that pushed him, because he did learn to swim properly after that.
Yeah, seems like it. He went to Greengate Baths in Salford, and he clearly took to it. Became a really strong swimmer, and a top-notch oarsman, too.
A rower, yeah. He led a crew, didn't he? The Colleen Bond.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Apparently, the name was chosen so they could enter a specific race named after a popular play. A bit pragmatic, perhaps?
Huh, maybe. Shows a practical side. Then he gets married, moves to Ordsall in Salford.
And this is key, I think. He becomes the landlord of the old boathouse inn.
Right by the river again.
Exactly. So his whole life keeps orbiting the Irwell. He's always right there, positioned to see things, to react when things go wrong.
Which brings us to the river itself. Because the state it was in, it's crucial to understand this.
Absolutely critical. The sources say it wasn't always so bad, but industrialization just wrecked it.
Utterly transformed it by the, latter half of the 19th century, especially after the Suez Canal opened in '69.
Yeah, that's when it got that nickname, wasn't it?
The sewage canal, a bit grim, that comparison. But it tells you everything. Industrial waste, raw sewage. Just appalling.
Truly disgusting. And that's the water Addy was jumping into. Repeatedly. It wasn't just cold or deep, it was toxic. Yeah. He was risking his health every single time.
The stories of the rescues are, they're quite something. Like the one about the funeral suit.
Oh, right. He's walking home, brand new suit, gold watch. Here's a kid's falling in.
And just goes straight in, no hesitation, into that filthy water.
And when someone comments on his ruined suit, his reaction is just perfect. What of that? There was a life at stake.
Says it all, doesn't it? Priorities.
Totally. Then there's the one where he saved a woman trying to end her life.
Right, and the source says she fought him, tried to pull him under.
Yeah, it highlights the actual physical danger. It wasn't just the water. Sometimes the person he was saving was a risk, too.
And that other one, rowing a boat with one hand, holding a woman's head up with the other because she was too heavy to pull in.
Incredible strength and determination, just refusing to give up, adapting on the spot.
You can see why people started noticing. He wasn't doing it for attention, clearly, but his bravery stood out.
Definitely. That led to the public recognition in January 1878 in Salford.
Where the mayor gave him that purse, 200 guineas. That was a lot of money then.
A huge amount. And a formal thank you. But that was really just the beginning of the official accolades.
Yeah, loads of medals followed, right? From humane societies, gold, silver, bronze, each one for saving lives.
These weren't just symbolic. They represented specific rescues, specific people pulled from that awful river.
And then the big one, the Albert Medal, first class.
Which is amazing in itself. But the story behind it, Prime Minister Disraeli writing to him personally to say Queen Victoria herself was awarding it.
Incredible. Just imagine getting that letter.
And the Albert Medal, as you said, was the absolute pinnacle for civilian bravery back then. Getting first class. That speaks volumes about how extraordinary his actions were considered.
They had a big public presentation for that too, didn't they, in Bexley Square, 1879?
They did. And the list of awards is just wow. The Albert Medal citation mentions saving 36 lives. Just let that number sink in. 36.
Plus, the Royal Humane Society bronze for a specific rescue in late '78, medals from the 100 of Salford Humane Society for different rescues.
Even one from the Manchester and Salford Swimmers Association.
Yeah.
He really wanted to acknowledge his skill and bravery.
And it's great that people can still see them today. They're all at the Salford Museum and Art Gallery, right?
Yeah, preserved. A real testament.
But there's a sad side to this, inevitably. His final rescue, it seems like it cost him.
It really does seem that way. It was 1889 during some kind of children's parade near Factory Lane. A boy fell in.
And Addy, true to form, jumped straight into that sewage again.
You have to wonder about the cumulative effect, right? All those times, immersing himself in that filth. He actually said himself, after that rescue.
What did he say?
Something like, it laid the foundation of an illness. He connected that specific rescue to his declining health.
How tragic. And he died not long after, did he?
June 9th, 1890. From tuberculosis, or consumption as they called it then.
And just before he died, there's that incredibly moving quote saying, saving that last boy meant more than all the medals, all the honors.
It just shows where his heart was, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Completely selfless, right to the end.
It really does. Interestingly, despite his, working class background as a boatman's son and pub landlord, he left a decent amount of money.
Yeah, the estate was worth about 819 pounds, which sounds small, but it's what, over 50,000 pounds today? Maybe more. Shows the pub must have done okay.
But nothing compared to the value people placed on him. The reaction to his death was huge.
Massive outpouring of grief. Over 1,000 people turned up for the unveiling of his memorial at Weaste Cemetery in May 1891.
1,000 people. That shows the depth of feeling in the community.
Absolutely. And the memorial itself sounds quite impressive. Polished red granite obelisk, inscriptions, bronze plaques showing his life.
And it's still there, Grade II listed now, a proper tribute.
They didn't stop there either. Commissioned a life-size oil painting him wearing his medals. That's in the Salford Museum, too.
And they set up that swimming trophy for local boys, the Mark Addy Silver Cup, keeping his memory alive, inspiring others.
Even today, or until recently anyway, his name was on the landscape, the Mark Addy Footbridge.
And that pub, the Mark Addy pub, right, though I heard that closed.
Yeah, sadly, due to flooding, ironically enough, given its connection to the river. But the bridge is still there.
Mark Addy, just immense courage, again and again.
Total selflessness. Risking everything in truly disgusting, dangerous conditions. It's an amazing story of ordinary becoming extraordinary through sheer human decency and bravery.
Maybe have a look online for pictures of the Irwell back then. Or the memorial. It really drives home what he faced, why his story deserves to be remembered.